remains to be seen if he can do it on a consistent basis, because that will play into Luevano's game plan.
And the question is, as Jay Nady, the third man in the ring, walks around this ring, we have not seen one clinch yet because Concepcion has not been on the inside. Can Concepcion win a fight that is contested solely on the outside?
That's a very good point, Alan.
I don't know. He's landed some shots, but we'll see.
Concepcion needs to assert himself more on Steven at this point. He's
You're
letting
right,
Steven get comfortable with the outside game, trying to, catch him from the outside. He's using that long reach to his advantage. And Concepcion will not win this fight if he stays on the outside like this.
It's a very good point, Brian, and it's also allowing Luevano to get that timing, get that distance. He's going to start feigning and timing him a little bit more.
Luevano using the jab as a rangefinder, and it's enough to disrupt the attack of Concepcion. Concepcion came over here on June 27th to train at the Wild Card Gym with Freddie Roach in California from the Philippines, so he's had a good stretch being here and training. And Luevano, of course, training in the gym of Robert Garcia, also the gym that our broadcasting sidekick, Brian Valoria, trains in.
Brian, having had the pleasure of working with both trainers, how would you compare their styles of training?
There's a lot of similarities to them. They both fight. They both were great fighters in their prime. They know how to throw in the right tactics when they need to. They tell you the right things at the right time, and they know how to motivate you in the gym. I mean, they try to go into the gym and try to get the best out of you.
And it seems to me, as a spectator, they're both a calming presence in the corner.
We are into the final seconds here of round number 3, another one in which has been fought at long range, and maybe a little better one for Steven Luevano.
I think you're right, Dan.
The pace.
Luevano's settling down on this fight now.
And still to come, the main event. That's Nonito Donaire fighting for the WBC Interim Super Flyweight Championship, WBA Interim Super Flyweight Championship, taking on Rafael Concepcion. Only Donaire can win the title because Concepcion did not make weight. Donaire will have to face a man that's bigger than him, but he thinks the speed will get the job done in any case. And this young man could be on the verge of being a superstar in the sport of boxing.
Very impressive, talented kid.
Don't stay there, right? Because he's going to come up with the right hand. That's all he's looking for, okay? He's planning on that right hand, okay? Jab, boom, boom. Move, always, right? Step in, boom, boom, all right? 2 points at a time, all right? Let's go.
We are set to move into round number 4, and it's a good thing for Jay Nady. He's not paid per clinch because he hasn't had to break them up, I don't think, but maybe once in this fight.
This is the least I've seen Jay had to go in there and work. You're right, Al. That's a very good point. Garcia, Luevano's trainer, was making a good point that Concepcion was just looking for the one big shot for the right hand. He'd like him to double up, answer with 2 or 3 punches. But he's not looking to jab his way in there or fight on the inside, per se, as opposed to dart in and out, which I think is going to play into Luevano's favor.
Have we reached the point in this fight, here in round 4, Burnaby Concepcion in the multicolored trunks, the young 21-year-old who wants to make this fight a pressure fight, hasn't really come close to doing that. He may have won a round or 2 as the first couple, but tactically this fight is not what he wants. How does he change that, Brian?
He needs to step in. He needs to throw his jab, stepping in, and just asserting himself, going down to the body, taking the reach away from Steven. Steven's controlling the fight from the outside, and Burnaby is just almost inanimate right now at the end of his jabs.
Yeah, he's completely abandoned the jab himself. And he's looking for 1 or 2 big shots and sort of bowling in. And I'm sure next time we get into his corner, you'll hear Roach instruct the same thing.
Now, for my money, there's the thing that I think he needs to do. He threw that left hook to the body, Concepcion, and he needs to somehow double with it to the head. If he can step out to the left and get that foot outside, he can throw that left hook a couple times, but he's not been able to do that. And so Steven Luevano has been able to control the pace from the outside. This is the fight Luevano wants. Robert Garcia talked to us about the fact that he can't afford, Stephen, to get into a firefight with Concepcion. And even if it's less exciting, less scintillating for the media, the fans, whoever, for their man, Luevano, this is a better kind of fight.
This is his style. This is the way he fights. This is what he's good at.
Thank you.
Luevano, for the most part, it seems that every time I've seen him fight, the other guy, his opponent, usually is the stronger man. So that's why he's relying on his guile, his skill, all the craftsmanship, and the answer is beautifully there.
Good straight left hand by Luevano, and he's now starting to pinpoint that punch against Concepcion. And instead of Concepcion closing the distance between the two, it's actually getting farther. And we are under a half minute left to go here in round 4.
And he's not putting his foot outside of Stephen Luevano's lead right foot to get into position.
Right,
beautiful left hand by Luevano.
So round 4 coming to a close, and Stephen Luevano, making the 5th defense of his title, had a very, very solid round. Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm Al Bernstein, along with Mario Lopez and Brian Valoria. Delighted to work with these two gentlemen. I admire their work in the ring and elsewhere, and we've had a lot of fun here this evening.
You're letting him box you, okay? You put pressure on this guy, he'll quit. All right? Go after this guy. You ever this guy with a 5-fight combination, you'll knock him out. I promise you, okay? Come on now.
Freddie Roach, a sense of frustration in his voice, and pretty much saying what we've been saying, that he needs to up the pressure and feels that if he does, he can knock him out.
He's telling Bernabe to throw a lot more combinations than he is right now.
And you know, I was going to mention that I thought that, okay, obviously it's always difficult to fight a southpaw, but there's, as we mentioned earlier, no shortage of southpaws in the Philippines. So I'm sure he's seen his fair share.
He may have. We're in round 5 of this 12-rounder for the WBO featherweight title, and Stephen Luevano in the white trunks has kept his distance and kept his advantage over Bernabe Concepcion over the initial part of this round. And that last round was a quintessential round in this fight because Luevano threw 59 punches and landed 9. Concepcion threw 15 and landed 3. So that's an indication of what's going on. And look at the difference in jabs. That's remarkable.
That's unbelievable. And Concepcion not doing what Freddie Roach is asking him to do, as far as jabbing his way and putting a lot of pressure in there.
Stephen's jab is not those jabs that puts a lot of power in. He's just peppering it out there to gain that reach so he can follow it up with that left straight.
And it's enough to kind of keep you off your guard or not get your timing right.
Right.
Huh, Brian?
Just to keep the distance away from Bernabe. And Bernabe's key to this fight is just try to get into Stephen Luevano and close the distance between the two, and he hasn't been able to do it so far.
Luevano 4-0-1 overall in title fights. And so far in this one, it's kind of marching along as he would want it to in terms of how it's gone tactically.
You're right, and I'm actually surprised to see that, Al, because he had some success in the first round.